Now, on to some more NBA draft hopefuls. Dereck Lively was a top 3 overall recruit in the 2022 class. As a 7-footer who could handle the ball, run the floor, and dominate defensively, his potential was easy to see.
First is when I saw Dereck, I said, listen, I think you have a chance to be the best player I will ever coach. And I meant it sincerely.
I would say I'm a type of player that you really just tell me what I need to do and I'll get it done. I'm not the player that is just an offensive player you give the ball to score. I affect the game in every way, shape, or form.
I think there are 2 things that a big has to have. One is you have to be able to catch. Dereck has unbelievable hand-eye coordination, unbelievable hands. You catch with your eyes, not with your hands. The second thing bigs have to be able to do is run. And like, that sounds simple, but if you're a 7-foot-tall 16-year-old, it's not that easy. And Dereck runs like he's a 6'1" track star. Dereck is incredibly competitive. He wants to help his team win however he can, and he recognizes that being a 7'1", 7'2" kid, running as fast as you can for 28 minutes a game, is probably the best way to help his team win, and that's what he does.
While Dereck's offensive game didn't shine at Duke, he averaged just 5 points per contest. He did prove to be effective as a rebounder and shot blocker, and that's what NBA scouts are focused on as they evaluate his potential to grow.
My goal isn't to get to the NBA, my goal is to stay in the NBA. Because when it comes to multiple NBA people who's aiming to be in the NBA, they get there and then they start to fall off because they got where they wanted to be. My goal is to really just make sure I make a name for myself whenever I get into the NBA.
If I tell you that I think Dereck will be the best player I'll ever coach, that means I think Dereck's going to be a Hall of Famer. And the reason that I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer is that he cares about winning more than anything else. He doesn't get done with the game and look at his box score.
While he still has room to improve offensively, Dereck's defensive ability gives him a very good chance to be a first-round pick. Gregory G.G. Jackson was the #1 rated player in the 2023 high school class, but he reclassified to 2022 and played this past season at South Carolina, and now he's eligible for this year's draft. We caught up with Jackson at a USA basketball camp last summer, and he talked about that #1 ranking.
It's definitely not lonely at the top. You know, obviously there's a lot of guys out here and guys that didn't get invited to this camp who are also top-level talents who could have been picked to get #1. But I feel like God worked in my favor and they selected my name, and I'm so grateful to hold this spot.
At the time, Jackson was focused on improving his game with the hopes of eventually becoming an NBA player.
I want to become more coachable. You know, the coaches out here, they said they wanted to see me more down low because obviously I have like the perimeter game a little bit, but I kind of stepped away from my bread and butter, which is on the block. So I feel like I had to showcase some of that. But just being more versatile, I feel like being able to be all over the floor, and hopefully that can carry along in the NBA.
The 6'9" forward led South Carolina in scoring this past season at 15.4 points per game, while averaging 6 rebounds per contest as well. His frame and long-term potential should give him a good chance to land in the first round. As the draft gets into the second round, one of the most intriguing names on the board will be Emoni Bates. Bates was the Gatorade National Player of the Year in his sophomore season. When his junior season began in 2020, many regarded him as the best high school player in America. He played for Ypsi Prep, a basketball academy created by his father Elgin so Emoni could play a national schedule while still staying close to home. Despite the COVID restrictions at that time, many fans still came out to see Bates play.
I mean, you talk about a kid who's got a mentality that's different than any other kid you've seen since the LeBrons and the Kevin Durant's and the Kobe Bryant's, because his mentality of attacking from the moment he gets on the floor, right? So he's a competitor. He wants to win. Winning is in his blood, and he's not satisfied with not winning. So when you talk about Emoni, you're talking about a work ethic that's kind of second to none. And you talk about a kid who's driven, extremely driven to be the best every time he gets on the floor. So when he's not at his best, he's his biggest critic. And we just have to kind of remind him, you know what, we won the game, and next game we get an opportunity to go out there and do it again.
Bates reclassified to the 2021 high school class and played his freshman season with the Memphis Tigers. He was too young to enter last year's draft, so he transferred back home to play this past season for Eastern Michigan. He averaged 19 points per game for the Eagles, and now that he's draft eligible, he's ready to bet on himself and take his chances at the professional level. After an outstanding 4-year career at Gonzaga, Drew Timme is looking forward to his next challenge, trying to make an NBA roster. A native of the Dallas area, Drew was exactly right 4 years ago when he said Gonzaga was the perfect fit for a player like him. A 6'10" center who can pass the ball and do all the little things to help a team win.
Man, the history of players like myself, we're just multi-dimensional and skilled big men, and the coaching staff's great. And I like it up there a lot. It's very different up here, and I don't know. It's kind of where my heart was the whole time throughout the process. In the back of my head, it was always there.
Drew grew up playing AAU basketball with some guys who are currently in the NBA, like Tyrese Maxey and RJ Hampton. And those early days gave him a great foundation for his career.
Man, it's great. You know, we've all grown up playing against each other and with each other, and I think that's what makes us special is we're always in the gym together pushing ourselves to be the best, because everyone, you can look at anybody and say, hey, they're the best in the state. So that's what's great is we're all friends and we all push each other to be the best we can be.
Whether Timme is scooped up in the second round or signed as an undrafted free agent, there will surely be at least one NBA team that wants to get a long look at his offensive skill set in the Summer League. Thanks for checking out Sports Stars of Tomorrow on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and please subscribe to our channel so you see all of the latest content.